Oh, okay. So going back to, I'm sure you get this a ton as well. Being called, okay, so I wanted to talk about black or mixed stereotypes and assumptions. So being called you're an Oreo. I get that all the time. So maybe we should explain what that means. Um, it means just like the cookie, you're black on the outside and you're white on the inside. So in that context, they mean that you're a black person, but you are articulate, you're educated, you're well spoken. Um, what else? Maybe you like, I don't know, a type of music that would typically be white, like country music is the example that most people fall into with that. Um, I get that all the time, and I'm sure you do too. And it irritates me and it frustrates me, and it's awful to say because education does not have a color. Um, just because I look like this, you shouldn't assume that I'm going to speak a certain way. In this country, education is funded, and the areas that are funded aren't the areas that have black people in them. So it's not by choice that, you know, they in those areas sound different than people that grew up in areas like us. We went to a very, very nice high school. We got a great education. You still are. Um, but that irritates me like no other.
Yeah, I have never personally been called an Oreo, but I get the because I'm adopted, I'll tell people that I'm adopted, and then I get the, oh, that makes sense. Or like, I'll get the, oh, you act so white sometimes. Or what frustrates me more than anything else is that you're so articulate. That really pisses me off because I like to think that I'm an articulate, well spoken person. I think that I am. But it's from the people who it comes from that really, especially teachers who barely know me, are like, you are so articulate. I hate that because it means that you expected me to sound a lot less educated than I sound. It means you expected me to sound stupid. You expected not what you got. And so that's why it frustrates me. Because coming from like my mother, I'm like, oh, thank you, because you know me as a person. So you're calling me like a smart person. Like, I appreciate that. But some random adult being like, you're so articulate frustrates me because it has the presumption that black people are stupid. And
Right. And they had preconceived notions before even saying a single word to you. You know,
exactly.
they had a judgment that okay, she's going to be this way because she looks like this and this is the color of her skin.
Or people saying that like, oh, like, or just that I talk white, because I don't think that like being like, but also just it frustrates me the whole like you talk white thing or like you sound black. That frustrates me in its own because it sounds like people who like speak a certain way can't be educated, even though that's not the truth. They're like people who talk in AAV, which is the African American Vernacular English. Like
Mhm.
people who use like those like slang words can't be educated, which is not the truth.
Right.
And so being like, oh, you talk white, that means you sound educated. You sound smarter than like other black people because they don't speak the way that you speak.
Absolutely. Another thing that another assumption or stereotype that I have experienced, but less so, just because outwardly a lot of people don't think I'm black, is you're pretty for a black girl.
Yeah.
That
Um,
is awful.
I think I personally have never been told that, but I think it also has to do with like colorism and all those like other issues because like you do have like lighter skin than I am than
Right.
I do. Like I think that more so comes with the you're pretty for a black girl because people love to be like socially acceptably black. So like the lighter your skin is, the thinner your nose is, the less you have actual like African characteristics in your like features, the more socially acceptable it is to be black. And so I think that I've never gotten you're pretty for a black girl, but I have gotten the oh well, I don't like black girls, or like the I'm not into black girls, and like things like that like my friends don't ever have to think about. Like I'll be like, oh, I think this boy is cute, but I don't know if he's into black girls. And then my white friends are like, well, why do you even like think that he isn't? And I'm like, if you look at every other girl that he's dated, what have they all been?
Right.
White. So that's another added layer that like you and I have to think about that other people don't have to think about, because I don't have to be like, well, if I, even if like he personally is like okay with dating a black girl, if I go home to his family, is he gonna be, are they gonna be like,
What is she doing here?
yeah,
Right. And like you were saying, colorism is huge in the black community, even. Like that's where you get the biggest judgment sometimes. And when I have my hair and makeup done, I don't look black in a lot of situations. Like my hair's straight right now, but when I'm fresh out of the shower, I have curly kinky hair. My nose is a lot wider than it appears when I have makeup on. Like that's another thing that I have to think about as well. Like, okay, you like me when I look more white, or when I'm passable, when I have all this makeup and like my hair done a certain way. But if I'm fresh out the shower, are you going to be like, who are, what are you doing here? What happened to last night? That girl, where'd she go?
yeah,
And like being lighter, what you're saying, you would get more outward judgment than I do,
yeah,
especially in like a situation if you're going to meet somebody's parents. But then I have to think about, okay, well, am I just that fantasy for you? Because you know your family doesn't like black girls, but they're not going to know that I'm black. So it's kind of like your dirty little secret when I go anywhere.
exactly. Or just the fetishization of like black women and men, just like in general, of being like, especially from white women to black men, is like, I want to date a black man so I can have like a mixed baby. Or
Right.
like things like that, of like wanting like the perfect black child.
Right.
Because it's not fully black, but it's just black enough to have like the beautiful, like loose curls and like the light caramel skin, but green eyes because that's prettier.
Right. That happens a lot with me because I'm not somebody that wants children. I don't think that it's personally, I just don't think it's right for me for a plethora of reasons. But a lot of my friends always tell me, no, Tori, like we need you to have kids because we need those perfect little caramel babies. And I'm like, if you want me to have children, I would love for you to want me to have children because you think I don't know, intelligent, because my kids would be a benefit to this world for things other than their appearance.